Hello everyone, my name is Akesh Gupta and I'm with Lightspeed Solutions. In this presentation, I'm excited to show you the ease of page layout customizations using RSP Designer. To begin with, let's start RSP Designer. Open an existing application that we already have pre-built without any code customizations right out of the box, and we will run it, and we'll then discuss what type of layout customizations are we looking for. So when RSP Designer looks at the data schema and puts the table pages together, it tries to put the fields in the best possible format based on internal mechanism. All the fields which are going to be quite long are put at the bottom. All the fields which are together, like address, they are put together in one area, and so on. So as you can see, this is basically a simple page of an add customer, or we can go to edit customer. And this is the page where basically RSP Designer has laid out the fields so that system knows what field goes where. For one reason or the other, what if you need to move fields around? What if you're not satisfied with the way RSP Designer has laid the pages for us? What we would like to discuss is how to do so. And to your surprise, you will find it's as simple as learning how to navigate in a tool like Excel. RSP Designer uses a spreadsheet layout like Microsoft Excel, in which case we have rows and then columns. As you can see, there are two types of fields. One are labels, others are field values. Labels are the ones which will basically show you the text of the field, like first name, last name, and so on. And then the field values are whether they are text boxes, whether they are drop downs, whether they are large list selector or radio buttons. Those are all what we call as the field values. So at the end of the day, this Excel-like spreadsheet layout can be extended to as many rows and as many columns. All we need to do is drag and drop the fields. For the fields which are already laid out or which are already included in the application wizard for the page, we can simply drag and drop. As you can see, I'm just moving email all the way from row number 6 to row number 8, and all I can do is drag and drop, and I'm going to just basically use the live preview to show you how the system will show me the new layout where the email field has been now moved all the way to the bottom. So using a spreadsheet layout, it becomes very easy to move fields around. As you may have watched in one of our other videos, RSpeed also uses various sections in a hierarchical format, but every sections follow the same spreadsheet layout. So in a sense, overall, it's a spreadsheet layout where you can move fields and drag and drop, cut and paste, and other operations which I will show you shortly. Right now, probably just trying to compile the application. We'll just give it a minute, or we can actually look at it in a bit. I was hoping to at least have it working. Let's try it here. I'm just going to go to add customer or edit customer. And if I click on add customer here, of course I updated the add customer. As you can see, the email field moved all the way down to the bottom. So as you noticed, it was very straightforward for us to move fields around. What if someone accidentally deletes the fields? So say, for example, you delete the fields and now you need to bring more fields into the system. Very simply, all we need to do is we need to go back to our toolbox. Within toolbox, we have different sections. Like in this case, we have fields, labels, sums, and count section. RSpeed toolbox is smart enough to know which entity you're in. And as you can see, we are in the customer entity. The system automatically shows you the fields for customers and labels for customer. So in case we need to bring the email back, I can bring my email label back. I can bring my email field back. You notice one of the things here which might come to our advantage is that unlike other IDEs where sometimes you are bringing more of a control like an HTML control or ASP control and then binding it to a particular field, RSP Designer is taking care of it automatically. In this particular case, as you can imagine, the email field could be very long, and if we follow the same column structure, there will be a lot of gap between column B and column C just because the email may be quite long. So it would be nice to merge column B, column C, and column D so that layout is not altered, which is as straightforward as, like in Excel, I can select all the 3 cells and I can right click on it and say merge cells. And voila, we got what we were looking for. Now, if I try to run this product again, go back to the ad page, you will notice that my email field here is really a combination of all 3. It may not be as clear just because my first name field was of the equal length as email, but in case the email was longer, system would not have made too much gap between the email text field and the next column. And of course, if you need to split, you can right click on it and click on split cells. System will automatically be able to split the cells based on the number of columns it was spanning. And as you notice, you don't need to worry about anything when you generate the Iron Speed page. System automatically converts the layout into proper HTML. If you need to insert rows and columns, right click on a column and say insert column, whether it's from the left or the right. It's as simple as just inserting a column. You want to insert a row, right click on any row and you can say insert a row above or below. Same thing, you can remove a row. So very similar to Microsoft Excel, you are allowed to move objects wherever you want. What if you want to do copy and paste? I can select one or more objects by pressing the Shift key, right click on it, click cut. I can cut all the objects, move somewhere else, and I can now right click and say paste. All my objects, as I copied them or kind of like moved them, I have basically even copied things from one area 2 by 5 by 2, like 5 rows by 2 columns, cut it and paste it here. Not only that, I can even go back to my edit customer, select every single thing, right click on it, click copy, go back to the add customer page, select every single thing here, delete it. Now go back to A1 and paste it. So this one example could show you how the effort that you're spending on one section of the application, like add customer, you can easily copy and paste to the edit customer, since the controls are exactly the same. If you want to change the default control type, for example, by default, first name is a text box. Say, for example, on the edit customer page, you do not want anyone to alter the customer type or the customer status because you want to control it through the code. By default, I can basically double click on the particular, double click, but go to the properties. I apologize, double click was available in one of the Iron Speed versions long time back, just been used to it. So now as you can notice that if I click on customer type ID and look at properties, the properties control type is saying quick selector. I can go in and change it to say it will be a literal. Same thing for my next field, which in this case is customer status. I do not want anyone to be able to change these 2 fields. That's why I'm changing them from quick selector to literal. Now this screen shows you all different types of controls we can give to a particular field which is bound to a data element here in RSP Designer. Let's build the application. Let's go back to the edit customer, see how it works, just so that we are all on the same page. I'm going to go edit a customer, and what I'm desiring here is my desired result should be that my status and type are non-editable. As you can see, the customer type and customer status are non-editable. Hopefully you were able to visualize how easy it was to move things left and right, around, across pages, and so on. Another thing you can do is where you can take the product to the next level. Of course, I'm going to hide things here. From time to time, sometimes you may need to write some plain HTML. So say, for example, I would like to move this particular row above and then put a space and then do something. Once you select the row, I can actually drag and drop the whole row. Once again, let me undo it just so that I can show you guys again. This is another very cool feature of RSpeed IDE. I can select the entire row, and with my mouse button pressed, I can drag and drop anywhere I want, and it will move. As you can see, it moved all the way to the bottom. Similarly, I can move all the way to the top. Then I can actually right click and insert a row below to give it a free space. Then I can basically select all the cells and merge. Now, once everything is merged, what if I want to write some HTML myself, like text, which is very straightforward. If I click on cell editor, it basically shows me for every single cell what the spreadsheet what the spreadsheet tag is, which of course will be converted to HTML. But if I want, I can even write something I want. I can basically say welcome here, and build it. Now, of course, when RSP Designer is building it, it's sensing that there is some text, and this text value will be transferred over to the ASPX page as is. Another thing that you might observe here is that sometimes you might see these green triangles on the upper left corner of a cell. What that usually means is there's a hidden text value which you should be able to see to make sure that you do not by mistake delete this row, because the text value will be deleted as well. So why don't we take a look at it, how it turned out in my generated application. This way it will give us an idea of what we can do. So I'm going to edit the same customer that I was looking at. And as you can see, system went in and wrote this text all the way to the right, but that's not what I was looking for. I wanted to make it everything centered. The reason it's basically moving every single thing to the right, it's because there's a CSS class applied. As you can see, there's a class applied to this particular cell. So what I would need to do is I need to remove that class. For that, I can right click on the cell and go to Styles, Cell. Once again, if you notice, once you right click on the cell, then you can go to Styles, Cell, and that's where you will see a class. RSP uses class quite a bit to do all the CSS customizations. So if I get rid of the styles by selecting it and pressing the delete button, clicking OK, and doing another build, quick build, and we go back to the application to see the results. Now you will notice that since we removed the cell, it brought the value back to the left side, which is a standard. But what if we would like to make it bold, underlined, and center? What would you do? Once again, RSP to the rescue here. What we can do is we can assign our underline. I can highlight every single thing. I can basically underline it. Of course, as you can see, it put the HTML tag. I can change the color by saying select the font color and make it red. And in order to assign some font size, I can give it a font size. I gave a font size also of 16. And I also made a center line by clicking on the center icon. So as you can see, within the cell editor, I'm able to refine what I'm looking for quite a bit. Now, after I made all the changes, let's see our results. And hopefully system will show us a pretty nice title, which is exactly what we were expecting. So this should show you how easy it is to mix fields which are data bound and the fields which are non-data bound. Of course, what if somebody wants to put both fields which are data bound and non-data bound together? It's also as simple as you could see in my next presentation. So let's say for discussion's sake, the postal code is what basically people are putting text. We would like to send write a text message saying only 5 digits, because the validation would basically catch it. So I can go back to my edit page. Here was my cell, and the cell was really a gen tag. Right after gen tag, I can put a space, in HTML world, spaces with $ NBSP colon, that basically means one space. Because if you really put 5 spaces the old standard way, HTML will only put as one space. But what if you want to put 2 spaces? This thing is, by putting the space definition, you are really forcing X number of spaces. So now I can basically say 5 digits only. What I'm trying to show you here is that once you drag and drop a field, if you want to extend the text in that field, which could be combination of a data bound field or label as well as your manual text, it's also quite easy. So hopefully now the postal code will say 5 digits only. So now the layout is what you can imagine, all automatically bound by using drag and drop and writing text fields. In addition, if you look at the toolbox has a lot of fields. What if somebody wants to basically put some other functions? Average, grand total, page total, minimums. You want to put charts and you want to put charts and graphs. You want to put something like buttons. As you can see, all you need to do is drag and drop. Now, one of the things which really comes in handy is, say for example, here's a section, here's a page that basically we had where we were showing show customers. By default, we do not want anyone to do import because we do not want anyone to import our data. So I can go in through my page section, go directly to my panel for actions, and I see an import button. I can just take the whole column or a field and I can delete it and build my application. So by me removing the column which contained one button by the name import, I was able to get my results to what I was looking for, where the import button is no longer available. So far, every single thing is looking good. The only thing we need to worry about is, what if we need to bring this button back? As you can see in my actions, I do not have any import button. What if you want to bring the button back? It's also as simple as it was to delete. We can click on add. Of course, since we have not logged out of RSP Designer at this point, I can just undo it, but I would rather not undo it. So let's talk about what is the proper way of putting the button back. Of course, first I will try to make a column on the right side. Once I have column on the right side, as you can see in the buttons area, since RSP Designer is context sensitive, it is smart enough to say or to see that you are in the show customer table page, and these are all the buttons which are possible, and import is one of them. All I have to do is drag and drop. RSP Designer has automatically bound it for every single thing, and we will get our button back. Just trying to show you by quickly opening the page again and reopening the actions, and you can see you have the import wizard button for importing back to life. So using RSP Designer, you can easily navigate to a section. Within a section, you can navigate to fields. Within fields, you can navigate anywhere you wish. Another thing you can do here is you can actually even put in anything you want. Say, for example, I want to make a new blank page. So we can basically start a new blank page, or we can start a new horizontal menu page, since that's a template we are using. I can say this is my page, and now you would like to start building something. So it's my page, or we can even say it's my customer summary page. And for the time being, let's make it a start page. By default, since it's a blank page, there's nothing going to be on this particular page. What if you would like to include a chart? I can go back to chart. I can say I want to see average of customers by type ID, for example. Or I just want to see basically count of my customers by. So I can drag and drop. And what RSP Designer now does, since it was not a page which was initially built using the application builder, RSP is now opening its wizards. So as you are dragging and dropping a new area, a new control, IronSpeed asks you, what would you like to do? So let's say we want to basically show this particular chart like more of a pie chart. I can say next. Now, what would you like to do? I would like to do a count of customers, where the data is going to come from, which data field we would like. We want to basically say, I want to have customer table, and I want to data field will be, for example, status. Now, of course, I'm able to see this, and right now system is trying to show me some values. Of course, do not worry about right now what the values are. That's a different discussion for a different day. But right now, I'm just trying to show you, as you will navigate through the wizard, IronSpeed will ask you for various things. And at the end, by you pressing the finish button, that particular control is already defined. You're not only limited to charts, you can even basically show a list if you want. So if you want, you can even actually show all the products. I can drag and drop, leave a product here. Now again, a wizard will start. What type of records would you like to see? So I say I would like to see my basic table. Click next. System asks you for the options. Well, if it's 3 column, 1 column, which buttons. I'm not going to worry too much right now. I'm going to just basically click on next, 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 and let the system put everything together. So by me starting from a blank page, by putting whatever controls I need, going through its configuration, I'm able to easily build my custom page. Once I have this layout, what if I want to move things around? No problem. I can move things around just by dragging and dropping, just the way I was doing throughout my other pages. So once I've done this, if I want to run the application, since that was the default page we made, I expect that default page to open first. We had put the two controls side by side. In this case, I expect to see a graph on the left side and a graph on the table structure on the right side. Of course, system is giving me an error message that the temp directory is not configured. Of course, this is a problem I have where the temp directory needs full permissions. So very quickly, I will go in and I will go to my application folder, go to temp directory, go to its properties, under security, give IIS user full permissions, because IIS users require full permissions to create the temporary image file before I can visualize, I can see my graph. Now that I've done it, let's see if that was sufficient. Doesn't seem that way. So let me try it quickly here. My apologies because I did not have this prepared. Right. Let's try it. There you go. Now that I gave the temporary permissions, I'm able to show the graph on the left side and the products on the right side. Of course, I don't have any products. That's why system is not showing me any details. But let's actually, again, of course, I don't have any products. And I can now look at all my data, a graph. And these graphs also have a lot more capabilities where we can click on the graph and it will automatically go to my list of customers and narrow down the data for what I was viewing at. So this way, I just want to make sure people know that the graphs have a lot more capabilities than just a simple visual. That's a discussion. Once again, I wanted you to see some more videos on the graphs. But finally, our goal here was how easy it is to build custom layouts. That's basically what I wanted to share with you. Hope you guys like the video. And if you have any specific questions, please don't forget IronSpeed forums are a great source for everyone to be able to ask questions, see the results, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Keep watching, and I will look you guys at the forum. Thanks.